Hi.
Good evening.
Hello.
No.
So the recorder is on. I'm not the host, so I can't stop it.
Try with computer audio. Okay. And good evening, everyone.
Hi, Nick.
Hey, Don.
You didn't get in with that link, did you? Did you-
I'm sorry.
Did you get in with that link that was in that email?
I used the link and then I had to plug in the meeting ID as well.
Yeah, Bill's having trouble getting in. And so is Jim.
Okay. And I see Bill's on too. So
Well, he's trying to get in.
Are you the host?
Dot is.
You're the host, so can you see them?
I can just see a picture of Bill's name.
Do you-
Nick's on, Jeff and Caesar are in, and I see Kim's picture.
And you know what, Dot, you can check to see if you need to let him in. You should be able to
Yes,
see it
I
from the upper
can.
right-hand side.
Okay, Katie just took over as being the host.
Okay.
Okay.
Bill was in the waiting room and I admitted him. But he's, oh, there he is.
Okay.
There you go. He was getting expert advice.
Bill, if you can hear us, you need to hit the unmute.
Mute. Yep.
Okay, let me,
There you go. He doesn't show his mute.
six, 8, 5, 4, 6, 9, 8.
Welcome to the world of high tech. That's all I can say.
Yes, I think we have all had a crash course over the course of the last year.
No,
I
no,
would
Bill,
say
we can't hear you.
we cannot hear you.
No. No, unfortunately, we cannot hear you.
coming through his, he needs to change his speaker.
All right.
He goes to mute and then select the speaker. Would that help?
Dot, did you say Katie took over as host?
When I said that, she did. Kim is the host and I am the co-host
Okay.
right now.
Okay. Okay. I will be right back. Hey, who do you want to watch this? Huh?
Oh, it should work. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Ah, thank you.
That's good.
We had to do a million changes in the settings. Sorry, I don't know how that happened. It usually works. Okay, we still don't have a quorum. We're waiting for a couple more people. Nancy.
Jim is just coming in.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, Jim just signed on.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a quorum.
Okay,
1, 2,
we have 3, right?
3.
And did you say,
Oh, no, we don't. We got to wait for Nancy Sarno. She is coming on. Yeah.
that's right.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Jim.
Hi, Jim. We can't see you.
I just worked today, 10 to 7 on Zoom. And
So he wants to stay off Zoom tonight. There you go.
Yeah, I'm exhausted.
I get it. I know that feeling.
How you doing? I haven't seen you in a long time.
Likewise. Good. How about
I
you?
missed you all, I hope.
Absolutely.
By the way, how's Maria doing? Your sister, right?
She's doing
Is
good.
she still, okay, is she still in the business?
If she is, she's in Raynham.
Okay.
At a shop.
Yeah, I have fond memories of her because my mother went to her and
Yep. Oh yeah.
many years ago.
That's right. Yep. I do recall.
Yeah.
Your mother was a hot ticket.
She was.
So yeah, she decided that, less aggravation. She'll just work for somebody, and she
Yeah.
picks, just has her set of clients and enjoys herself.
Good for her. And Joe is still going strong with the gasoline station.
More than he'd like. More than he'd like. He's very busy. Good thing for him, but
Yeah.
Dottie,
Uh-huh.
do we know if Marie Benoit is joining us?
She said she was able to.
Yeah, okay.
That was earlier in the week.
Okay.
How you doing, Bill?
I'm doing well, thanks. And
Good.
you? How are you?
Good. Yeah, everything's fine, actually. Doing some major renovations on the house in Hull. So
Uh,
that should be nothing to it. But right now it's like, the floors are torn up, the walls are down, there's dust everywhere.
Nice,
Did you
nice.
have to go, did you have to go through conservation?
No, but I mean, it got approved. I had to go to the building inspector and everything, but yeah,
We're putting a deck on our house in Marshfield, and we have to go through conservation.
yeah.
$5,000 later.
Yeah, the building inspector made us jump through hoops, we expanded the size of the bathroom and
Come on, it's
anyways,
those towns.
And we have to go through zoning,
Yeah.
the zoning board of appeals, because we don't have enough clearance on one side.
yeah.
Anyway, it's,
Is it
Very-
done? Is it
no,
approved?
no. The building inspector said it would be approved after we jump through the hurdles.
You must have the same building inspector Hull has.
Well, because we're between the marshes and the ocean, just very close, they're brutal, absolutely brutal.
I'm sure. I don't envy you.
And don't what?
I don't envy you.
No, and I asked if I could handle the conservation, and they said, oh, no, the professionals have to come to the meeting and on and on. And I mean, there are two houses behind us close to on the marsh side. I mean, we're not that close to the marshes, but it's the marshes that are
The problem, right?
the problem.
Well, let's hope we can acquire one more member here and
Yes. Do you think we ought to give Marie a call, Dottie? Do we have that? Can we do that? Or Nancy's going to be here.
I
She's in
just
the-
called her, I just called Marie and left a message. There was no answer at her home phone.
Okay,
Judith,
Nancy's
Judith is
joining.
not going to make it?
No.
sorry,
Judith is not going to
No,
be here. is
no,
that right?
no.
Okay.
but Nancy Sarno is in a library trustees meeting, but she will join us.
Okay.
That could go on and on.
I guess. Well, let's hope we get this handled soon.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, while we're waiting, I'll be right back. Okay.
Me too.
So how did they just do that? Go to the thing that says stop video?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I need to stop the.
Okay, we would like to call to order the meeting of the Historic District Commission, June 15th, 2021 at 7:54. This is a Zoom meeting, and the commissioners who are present are James Kirkcaldy, Nicholas Palmieri, Marie Benoit, William Smith, Chair, and Nancy Sarno is supposed to join us later. And we have a couple of guests from the town manager's office, the associate town manager, Ms. Kim Williams, and from TAPE, we have Jeff Hoover, our good friend whom we've seen very often. I thought that, I assume Mr. Hoover is going to be presenting this evening.
Actually, this is Cesar de Dios. I'll do the presentation tonight.
I see. So you're not Mr. Hoover.
That-
I see. For some reason, your name popped up, Jeff Hoover here. There
I am
you
here
are.
as well.
There you are. Yes.
He's here to watch me and learn.
Okay. Well, thank
I
you
knew.
again for coming, and we know you very well. Thanks for the attachment, the 36-page attachment detailing the work that you're proposing for the memorial building. I thought before we get started, I would read something from the Mass Historical Commission that's on file there. This is just very brief. about the memorial building, which will explain why we've had to have so many meetings and why the building is so significant. This was written by an architectural historian from Boston in the early 80s when we established the historic district. And he says, the Bridgewater Memorial Library is the town's most architecturally sophisticated 19th century public building. It is one of the very few 19th century structures in the center constructed of brick. Stylistically, it incorporates elements of Queen Anne and Richardsonian Romanesque. This well-preserved building is of a T-shaped plan. It is constructed of red pressed brick with freestone trimming and terracotta ornamentation. It rises one story to a hip roof. The roof's ridges are accented with sawtooth copper cresting and several ornate finials. Projecting from the center of the tripartite main facade is a pavilion with a recessed entrance and gable roof. The multi-paneled entrance doors are recessed behind a wide round arch which exhibits a turned latticework transom. And then he goes on. The architects were very well-known Bostonian architects of the second half of the 19th century by the name of Roth and Tilden. So it's not a Richardson building, but it's in the Richardsonian style. Because of its importance and the fact that it's not been altered really, it's pretty much intact. There've been a few things done, but the facade, the outside is pretty much as it was constructed in the late 1870s, early 1880s. Unlike, say, the Academy building, which had been undergone major additions and transformations, this memorial building is intact. And that's why we're taking our time with this, because we really do want to get it right. And you folks are going to help us do that. Last time we had a pretty detailed explanation of the proposed work. All of us now have had a chance to look at the attachment. I've been through this about, I think this is the third time, maybe the fourth. It's changed a little bit. So I was thinking that if maybe you could take us through the highlights of the restoration preservation proposal, particularly pointing out things that you are changing from the suggestions in the last meeting several months ago. And then I thought we would let you get through your presentation and we would take notes. I have already quite a few questions to ask. And then other people can ask questions. And then we will take a vote and impose any conditions or changes that we think are necessary. Is that agreeable to everybody? Yeah,
Yes.
to expedite the matter rather than stopping and asking questions all along, which we oftentimes do. We'll just keep notes and then go from there. Okay.
Great.
Hey.
Thank you very much. I'm Cesar Dedios, principal at Bay Architects, working on this project. And of course, I made a joke, but Jeff Hoover has been instrumental in bringing this process and bringing this project to where we are right now. As you may or may not he's an expert on historical preservation and has dealt with many times with buildings like this. So yes, the last time we actually we met with your group first, way back, before we went through a series of other meetings and submittals to different entities to get all the necessary approvals for this building in terms of historical. So what I have done here I have basically the same presentation that we had initially, which we have used very successfully for the other presentations. The scope is pretty much the same. We're doing the same things. We are just updating things that as had been requested to refine the project. With that said, let me share my screen. It says disable screen sharing, so I guess I need to get permission from somebody.
Who's the host of the meeting?
Who's the host?
Scott?
You have permission.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's try now. Oh, perfect. So here we go. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
Good. So, yes. So this building, as was mentioned, was Roche and Gilden Architects back in 1882, and it's not Richardsonian, but is of that kind of style. This is the building as it was, the photograph that they have on record at Mass Historic, probably from the 70s or 80s. This is the building as it looks now in the 2000s. And you are very familiar with what it looks like right now. Is still staying in good shape, but obviously it has been underutilized for a long time, so it needs to be activated. Interiors are the original interiors, and they are well preserved, except for painting that has been peeling and things of that nature, but that are relatively cosmetic, and the floor that has some wear. But doors and trim look in good, very good shape. The basement right now is literally a cellar with unfinished basement, and no attention has been paid to things like running wires or painting or cleaning it up. It's a lot of stuff down there that needs to be cleaned up. As I said, the general summary of the proposed work is objectives are the same as they had been, is to utilize the currently available space to house office workspaces for DPW department heads and staff persons on the main floor, which entails upgrading mechanical systems, thermal performance of the windows, proper plumbing facilities. Also restore the structural integrity to the front entrance steps and landing and provide universal access to the building. Another goal is to establish a venue for the display of historic artifacts. And on the lower level, we're going to create a more appropriate area for the storage in support of the departmental functions in the lower level. ADA compliances, universal access. We're providing parking space. There's one parking space that is just now being, as part of the project, will be adapted to be compliant with signage and proper curve cuts, things of that nature. Accessibility from the sidewalk to the main entrance. A compliant main entrance. Right now they are the stone steps that not only they are in decay, but they just not compliant. So we're going to provide accessibility to that, as well as accessibility to the lower floor and compliant toilet facilities. This is the plan of the main floor as we envision happening, and as we talked about this before. The intervention inside the building is relatively minimal. We are dealing with mostly furnishings to define the different zones, of utilizing the existing partitions, existing footprint, existing features of the building, and only in terms of accessibility and access to the floors. We are adding a lift, and we are basically upgrading the existing stair, which right now is non-compliant. This is a lower level, which will be accessible by a person in a wheelchair with fully handicap accessible compliant toilets. And most of the zone, most of the space in the lower level is dedicated to storage, so that the town can bring materials here and process them, ultimately digitizing them. This is a diagram on the outside. Basically, what we are doing is provide universal access main entrance, based on the significance of that, the building, and as well as the main entrance with the lattice work, the plaques of memorial plaques of Civil War. It is important that that entrance is has universal access, and so that anyone uses the same point of entry. As also mentioned, there's an existing parking space that is dedicated to someone in a wheelchair. What we are going to do is make it proper signage, striping, painting, curve cuts, and dealing with the grades a little bit so it's compliant. And to connect it to, we have a sloped sidewalk on the side of the building, so that it pitches slightly up towards a middle point from which it goes up to the main entrance. Access from the street via the steps or via the entrance around the ramp. Destination is the same. Major and minor changes to the building. We at this point we had advanced the contract documents, so we have all things that I'm talking about in substantial detail. More of the technical aspect. I have them available here if you're interested, but basically the proposed work falls into categories that are established by the preservation restriction. One, the minor in nature, requiring no review by the Massachusetts Historic Commission, and major alterations which require review and approval by the Massachusetts Historical Commission. As I said earlier, we started with your group and presented the project as it is, and we went through the different aspects of it, different approvals. We have the letter that I believe was sent to you from Mass Historic approving the project, as well as the required endorsement for the Massachusetts Architectural Access Board that is required for the variance for the doors.
That's a waiver. Basically.
For the doors?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually the way it was presented. It was presented as we described we were going to do.
Yeah.
You could have a waiver and not do anything and get the waiver, but we are actually doing an alternative compliance. We are operating the doors. Both leaves will open for full width electronically. So it's an alternative compliance. So the doors actually are compliant, and that's what they approve.
Okay.
So that's better, yeah,
Yeah.
than the waiver. Then other significant changes to the landscape in front of the building is adding the slope walks to make it ADA compliant, ramps with handrails, adding a knee wall adjacent to the existing front wall to balance the opposite side, which it was reduced to a curve now. removing the existing walkway to the existing front steps and replacing with new paver entry plaza. So going through the drawings here, you will see on your right, on the is that the image in blue, that is a combination of a slope walkway, which doesn't require railings, and then a ramp that requires railings to navigate the difference in grade between the street and the top landing. Here I put a note that says note existing entry doors to remain and to open with door operator as per approved MAB variance. The item on, you can see the blue line on the left is a granite curve, so that it still balances the opposite side in elevation, but it's not as dominant. It's not as, it's more discrete. The entry paver, concrete pavers, we have chosen the same pavers that were used at the Academy building in the same pattern. That is a blend of concrete pavers. It's a 50-50 blend, and we'll apply them here in that same pattern. Other changes to the front and the side of the building. The removal of the existing granite steps leading to the front door and replacement with new concrete steps and granite treads, an alternate full depth granite tread. The purpose of existing granite steps to create the top landing and adding a slope walkway to replace the existing sidewalk. So here you can see we're proposing repurposing all the existing granite steps and turning them into the top landing of the ramp. You can see they are here, they're very thick. The steps will be built new out of concrete with a 2-inch granite topping for the treads. And that's what we call the base bid. That was the contractor will be bidding on pricing that. And then we will set up this as an alternate if budget allows and the bids come in, come lower than anticipated, and then the project can afford an upgrade, then we will take the alternate, which will be the full depth of granite for the treads and risers. So on the left, you see what we're proposing. It will look like granite on top in either case. On the right, the alternate is the riser face would also look like granite. Then this is what was submitted for the variance application to MAAB. So these are the existing doors, which will be properly refurbished, cleaned up, painted, patched where necessary. You can see that the width of the full opening is 5 feet. And so a handicap accessible door only needs to be 36 inches, 3 feet. This would be more than enough. And it will be operated with a push button inside and outside. Both of them, both exterior and the interior of the vestibule. The other doors did not require, they are wide enough, they don't require a variance. And in order to get to sort of deal with the existing step to the entrance, we are proposing a stainless steel grate so that there's some transparency to see the pavers below, the original pavers below, which will remain, and at the same time that everything is at the same level. The slope walkway to replace an existing sidewalk is what I mentioned, that this new slope walkway will connect the parking in the back to the entrance in front. So this is the link that brings someone who would park in the back directly to the front entrance. This is an image similar to what was presented before, but this time it incorporates more textures, the pavers you can see. We discussed adding fieldstone cladding so that you wouldn't see much concrete on the sidewall. A reduced size granite curve rather than a matching wall so that we don't have that much concrete. Those are the elements on this elevation. These are renderings that give you an idea of what this would look like once completed, volumetrically, and the relationship between the ramp, the steps. To the interior of the building, we talked about creating a floor opening and installing a wheelchair lift. The removal and replacement of the stair to the lower floor with a code compliant stair in the new configuration in a larger floor opening. This is where you can see on the inside, the lift on the right, the new stair in the same general location as the existing, but fully code compliant. Views of the inside, looking at the stairs, looking at the lift. And so that, I know there was a comment before about the railing, which we have elaborated. Fortunately, I realize now I didn't update the railing here, but we have elaborated on that to pick up on the existing paneling. The existing paneling is, they are vertical boards with a cutout round piece at the top of it. So we have, what we're proposing for the railing is something that picks up on that theme, but is sort of the negative of it. So instead of being solid, is more transparent, which is always the intent of making this look light. Any intervention looks light so it doesn't distract from the volumetry of the building. I said this is a view from the other side. We discussed the last time the lower level, which brings the vertical circulation via stair or lift to a central point. Minor changes, paving, striping, and signage associated with marking an ADA compliant parking space, remove existing wooden deck and lift, repair and structurally stabilize the side stair and landing, addition of a removable entry grille in the interior entry alcove, repainting of previously painted interior surfaces, repairs and improvements to the electrical power distribution system, and repairs to the lighting system. You can see the image on the left with what is existing right now, this wood deck, which will be removed, and the granite steps and the granite cap and the brick will be restored. On the image on the right here, as I described before, in order to match the elevation of the first floor, we are going to bring the floor level in the recessed vestibule, recessed entrance, and without detracting from the existing pavers. So we're going to create sort of a bridge made out of stainless steel that would allow maintaining everything uniform at the same level while still being able to see the pavers below. Additional changes, minor changes, are the installation of a removable floor covering, which is a walk-off mat, removal and replacement of lower level partitions in the new configurations, reusing, repurposing of the existing HVAC, plumbing, electrical system components, and supplemented with new equipment as required. Adding partial height glass and wood partitions, which is something that is reversible, and refurbishing of the existing windows where necessary, and replacing existing storm panes with higher performance energy panels. This is something that we had done, a similar technique, similar products used in the Academy building across the street. And these are images that show what is existing right now. There are windows and storms in different levels of they need repair, they need work. We're going to replace the storms, and we're going to refurbish the windows, the wood windows where necessary. And that is the presentation that I had for tonight. And as I said, we have if maybe during the questions I can point to specific details where we are with the rest of the documentation for this project.
Okay, do we have any questions for the presenter and for Mr. Hoover concerning the proposed restoration? I have some questions that I would like to refer you to. In the general summary of proposed works, you say you will establish a venue for the display of historic artifacts. Will that be on the main floor?
Yes.
Do you have any details on this venue? Not that we have jurisdiction over that. We have jurisdiction of the outside, but not, I was just curious about that.
No, yes, you can see in this image as well as that what we have proposed is creating a display case, which it would be most likely a ornamental piece of furnishing. Again, we're trying to deal with furnishings mostly to create the different zones. And there will be a series, including this one, to display the artifacts that are in the existing library right now.
The Civil War uniforms and the swords and those sorts of things, right?
Right, there will be display cases, including the one that we're proposing here to separate the more public zone as you enter the building into what is de facto offices.
Okay. The parking space is going to be around back where the existing lift is at this point. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
We just go to that image here.
Yep.
Right now, the existing lift is in this vicinity. You can, I don't know if you can see the mouse moving there.
Yep. I can.
That area, and there's sort of a strip of pavement, and then a step, and some asphalt. We're going to redo that entire area all the way as close to the building as we can. It's very tight because the line is right there, but so we are doing the best we can. We have the proper width, the proper depth, because there's really, this is a right of way, so the cars can park and can back up, but it's technically it's past the property line. And a curve cut and signage.
I walked around the whole building today, and it's very tight on that side. Yes, I want to ask another question about this slide. Concerning this knee wall, the one on the left side as we're looking at it on the front, that's more like a planter, isn't it? rather
Yes,
than a wall. It's a planter in essence, right?
yes, it
And-
is a planter. I think that we were initially proposing at the very beginning more of a knee wall that was matching the one on the right. But in response to your comments on previous meetings, I think that it was reduced. So we're just using
Yeah, that's
the
much better.
planter, the massing of the planter to balance it rather than
Right.
a
So,
solid concrete.
so this planter is not going to be very high at all, right? 6 inches, 8 inches, something like that?
The line that you see down
Yes,
below
yes,
is
yes.
a curve. Yes, it would be about 6 inches.
Right. Okay. That
Just to
looks much
define
better,
it.
because we were concerned about all the cement that we're going to see, and this
Right.
will soften it. That's much better.
Right, that was the intent.
Yeah.
Maintaining something that balances, but it's not exactly like. So it's a softer edge.
Bill,
Uh,
Bill,
okay, and there will be plantings. Will there be plantings along the side of the railing or not? Probably not.
Probably it's
The space.
because we're literally building to the property line.
Okay, yep. Okay, I understand. Yep.
That would.
Bill,
There's not a lot of opportunity, but
Right.
let's see.
But there will be plantings in the grass area behind the planter, and I mean, you're showing some dogwoods or something there. I'm sure they're just fillers. But,
Yes.
but there's some kind of planting there, I hope. Because people are going to
Yeah,
miss those
yeah.
lovely dogwoods, I can tell you that.
Yeah, we're proposing areas, and I know the community is very active in terms of utilizing public areas for opportunities for planting. I know
Right.
they did that at the academy.
I know you explained this, but I looked at the existing granite steps today, and they're not going to be unused. They're going to be removed and used to create this top landing. Is that right?
That is correct.
That's very good.
Yes.
And will there be a grill on top of that, or where will the grill be? And is there a grill there now?
No, there is no grill there right now.
Okay,
You can
okay.
see here we have an inventory of the steps as they exist.
Uh-huh.
You
Yep.
see the numbers 1, 3, 4, 7, and the new configuration as a single landing down below.
I see. Yep. Okay, that's good.
So
you're not destroying the original steps.
We're repurposing them.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's, okay. And you think a stainless steel grill is the most historically appropriate for that? I would like to have seen what the grill looked like. We don't want anything too modern.
Yeah.
You have a picture of the grill?
Yes. It looks. Hope you can see it here. It's,
Zoom that up.
stainless steel.
Yeah.
Jeff, perhaps you can talk about a little bit about the appropriateness of the materials, where you either match or you contrast, you blend in or you contrast. And I think that in this case, we were thinking clearly an intervention that is a modern thing. And the intent here is to create something that doesn't distract from the pavers, and at the same time that is very durable. Stainless steel is a good choice for an exterior application like this. And we are not making a secret of that grill is there for the purpose to preserve the pavers, not like it was there before.
True, it is minimalist, so that it obstructs your view as little as possible while still providing, good firm support underfoot that will last. past the ends of all of our lifetimes, so we won't have to ever worry about it again. But it says it right. It is an element of some slight contrast to, you know, the historic pavers that are below. But again, the strategy there was to aim for, you know, visibility of those pavers rather than to really showcase the grill itself. The grill is, if we could make it be invisible, that would be great, and we could levitate across there. But this is as close to that as we could get, while still being actually, you know, still a useful walk-off product as you go from outside to inside.
And one will be able to see the granite steps. You call them pavers, but they're really the granite steps that are just being repurposed, right? Underneath this grill.
I
Or,
think,
Tile.
yes,
or is this at another location?
no,
No.
this is a different location.
I see. So is this closer to the doors?
This,
Yes.
let me see if I could,
I mean, we have the steps, then we have the platform, and then we have the pavers. Is that right? As we enter?
yeah, let me find the
Sorry
image.
about that. Okay.
Perhaps,
Was it in an early photograph? Oh, maybe here.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh, yeah, I see. Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right, so what you see is, these are concrete pavers. They are all
Yes.
new
Right.
in the same pattern.
Yeah.
The ramp and this is concrete.
Right.
And with a veneer in front of a stone. The steps, the actual treads and risers here, we're proposing them to be new concrete with granite
Right.
top.
Yes.
This portion here is where we are repurposing, taking all the
Yeah,
existing steps and redo it. Now, because and what the pavers, the terracotta pavers or brick pavers, that they are existing, they are in this zone here,
Yeah, got it. Okay.
right there.
Okay. Okay.
And I have to say, they have a lot of patina, I guess. They are
A lot of patina, you say?
a lot of wear. They have a lot of wear.
They
But I
do,
think
yes. I saw that. I saw that.
But I think that it's important, even with that much wear, it's important to maintain that,
Absolutely.
something that people can still see through the grill.
Right. That's a wonderful touch. Let's go to the slide with the doors, the existing entry doors. The diagram of the doors.
Yeah, let me see. Did I pass it? Sorry.
The three doors at the bottom of the slide.
Yeah,
There we
this
are.
one.
There we are.
Yes.
There is a handle or a knob or something there that looks very Victorian to me, that looks original. I assume that's going to stay. The knob on the doors, or I can't remember if it's on both doors or on one door. There's a Victorian knob or handle on that door. Looks
Yeah,
like black wrought iron or something.
okay, yes. I've been in touch with our hardware consultant who is looking at what the appropriate hardware for doors like this would be, that are, they need to meet the core requirements for handicap accessibility, which typically translates into a lever, but at the same time is consistent with the historical significance of the building. For these particular doors, I believe that because they're going to be operated electronically,
Right.
the issue of the hardware is less critical.
Yeah.
Because you don't require to turn anything, or someone in a wheelchair would not require or not necessarily wheelchair, someone with some kind of impediment with their muscles or something to turn the door, the knob.
Right.
So this is less critical for these doors.
Right now, there's a terrible looking modern lock on there that'll, I'm sure, be replaced.
Yes, no,
Very
we intend to replace the hardware with something that is appropriate, but at the same time needs to be compliant.
Right, okay. Oh, I'm looking again at the planter. What is the depth of the planter? The length I can imagine, but what is the depth of the planter?
What we are proposing is the same width as the,
I see, yep.
so it's about 4 feet plus the
Okay.
curve itself, so 4.5 feet.
Okay, that's fine. Now, let's go to the railing. When we worked with you on the Academy building, you presented this same kind of railing, and we suggested, or maybe required, I'm not sure what, I guess we required it, or you wouldn't have done it otherwise probably, that a more period type of railing be used, a less modern railing. And do you recall the type of railing that is used on the handicap access ramp on the parking lot side of the Academy building? Do you recall that?
Yes, I recall that. I think that you asked us to go and see the old town hall that had a ramp like that, and it's the pickets with the round.
Yes, yes. That was much more appropriate than this. I'm sure it costs more, but I think it would be much more appropriate than this more modern railing. It seems to be incongruous to me. So I think that might be one thing that we'll consider.
Yeah, we were going similar to the entry grill. We were trying to minimize the elements, the modern elements.
The what elements?
Any modern intervention or something like in the case of the entrance, we would do in the grill. In the case of the ramp,
Right.
where railings are required, we were trying to minimize the impact overall. That's why we kept them to a minimum.
I see. But this is much less expensive, I'm sure, than the other
It
rail.
is, it's also
Yes.
much less visually obtrusive. I'm just looking at the drawings for the Academy building
Right.
railing, and it has everything that we see in this rendering, plus pickets every 6 inches and a cap rail and ornaments every few feet that are on top of the top rail. So it is quite, it's quite a bit more stuff, which of course is going to translate into more money. But it is also quite a lot more of visual obstruction, in terms of a vista of the building. And I think it would be, it would be characterized as another major change. And to kind of perhaps a bit of a negative visual impact relevant to the original sort of posture of the building in the landscape, and also in the sort of the I guess I would call it a village context. There was sort of nothing between you on the sidewalk and the building, and we've inserted a few things, and we've tried to keep them visually minimal, so that in your visual memory of seeing this building as you approach from the center or the common area, the railing won't be something that will stick in your memory, and the building will be something that does, by contrast to doing something that is, kind of a more lovely railing, that would then resonate with your sort of visual memory of the place. So anyway, that was our logic to go with something
Well,
that is
that's certainly one
particularly
point of view.
utilitarian.
And any other views on that from anybody in the group?
I have a question.
Yep.
In the back, when you put the handicap entry in, how many parking spots would be in the back? Not many.
Just one, that's all that you can accommodate in that space. As I said, it's very, very tight.
That's after the renovation.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Any concerns about the railing, or am I the only one? I mean, I can understand what the architects were thinking. I guess we can justify and rationalize a lot, but
How do you get around it?
what's that?
How do you get around it? I mean, you need it for entry.
Well, I was suggesting maybe the type of railing that we had required them to use on the Academy building,
Oh,
which
okay.
is a more ornate. I mean, it's not really fancy, but it's more traditional.
Mhm.
But the architects seem to think that might detract from the building, and that is a point. Well, what do other people think about that from an aesthetic point of view?
I have an image I could share of the Academy
Okay,
building railing.
that might help. Yeah,
Sure.
I think that
Thank
now
you.
you should. Does that show up for you all?
no, not in mine.
No, I think he has to turn over, you have to present.
Mission.
Hey, let me see. Mm,
Where's that share button?
My screen says that multiple participants can share simultaneously.
There
They-
we go.
There you go. Perfect.
Oh, so you can actually see it now? I can't tell what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay.
That is a little busy.
It is.
Is Nancy here, by the way?
But
No.
I honestly think that what they're proposing is better because
Yeah.
the two buildings are different. The
Yeah,
Academy
without
building
question.
is a white
Okay,
wooden
Okay,
structure. and
I'm convinced. So if
And
there's
it's,
no other.
and this is a brick structure and it kind of, what they're proposing fades against the brick. So it's
Right.
Right.
Maybe you're
not
right.
so obtrusive.
Yeah,
It doesn't
maybe-
take away from the
I think
building.
this would be too much.
I agree.
Okay, so we'll lay that to rest. I have a
Right.
question about the original back door. I looked at it this afternoon late. I walked around the building and I looked at the door around the back where the lift is. Will that door be altered in any way, or will it be maintained in its originality?
It will be maintained. It will be repaired, new hardware, but it will be the same door and the same side window and the trim with the arch.
Very good. Now to the windows, which is my biggest concern. Let's go to the section on minor changes, number 11, where we talk about the windows. I looked at the windows again today. They're in very good shape. We had agreed when the Academy building was being restored that the windows could be replaced because they were not the original windows. But these are the original windows, except for some of the windows of those small basement windows. They've been
Right.
replaced, but all the other windows are original.
Mhm.
And so you keep referring to the fact that you will use the same techniques employed at the Academy building. Well, as I
right.
recall, those were new windows that were put in the Academy building because, as I said, they were not the original windows, and the existing windows then were in very bad shape. But we would not be doing our job as an historic district commission if we allowed these windows to be altered very much.
Yeah, no, Perhaps
Somebody speak to that and relieve my anxiety about these windows.
I can do that. I can tell you that we are not getting rid of the existing windows. We're keeping them. We're refurbishing them.
What are these higher performing energy panels? What is
Uh,
that?
what I'll show you what I meant. What we did in the academy, and you're correct that many of the windows that were not original to the academy or were way past the point of repair.
Yes.
In the portion of the building in the back, which is the town council chamber,
Right.
those are new windows that are made to look like the original windows.
Right.
The ones in the front, the ones that you see in the front facade of the building, those are the original refurbished windows. And what we did in those windows, they were taken away, they were restored, completely replaced, restored the wood, patched the wood with special materials, and brought back, reinstalled, and then because they are single pane glass, to protect them, we proposed adding storm that is architecturally in keeping with the building and goes in front of right here. If you can see the portions that are rendered as wood,
Yep.
that would be the original windows, and we are just adding something in front. It's the same thing that they have right now.
Yeah.
Except that better quality, and these are kind of a product that you buy at your it would be more more appropriate, better quality, better glass material. But no, yeah, we're keeping the existing windows. We're refurbishing them.
Okay, and these windows at the top, near these little Romanesque column pilasters or whatever they are up at the top, would they're leaded, so they're really very special.
They are, but I believe
I'm sure they need work.
Yeah. It came to my attention. I thought the same thing. It came to my attention that actually the little squares,
Yep.
those are applied on the inside. They are
On the inside.
Yeah, they actually, the only reason I know is Michael Dutton brought to my attention because one fell off, and it's like a piece of glass with decorative elements, but it's not, it's sort of applied to the.
Do you think that was done later? Or original too? Is that a Victorian window complement?
Well, the fact that was not, I mean, on one hand, they have been there for a long time, right? I suspect, but they were not firmly attached. So they were not part of the original window. So in other words, it doesn't appear to be part of the original window. We don't know when they were added, how modern they are from the 80s, or maybe they were contemporaneous, but not part of the existing window.
Because they're different design. These have little panes, and the bottom windows seem to have larger single pieces of glass.
Right.
And they're double hung, I guess, aren't they? Aren't they double hung?
They're double hung, yes.
Yeah. And the other ones are fixed.
They're all fixed, correct.
Yeah. Making that kind of clerestory effect on each side. I noticed in back that someone had removed one of the windows and put in an AC unit.
Yeah.
And
so
if most historic district commissions would require you to go out and find a window just like that and search the world over, because I'm on the listserv and I see every day people asking questions from all these towns in Massachusetts that have historic district commissions about replacing windows and replacing glass. They want glass, 18th century glass in 18th century windows, if you can believe it. You've worked in historic district commissions, I imagine, or historic districts, sorry. And so you're familiar with how strict they can be. So we would like that, I would like that window replaced. Maybe it's somewhere, maybe, I mean, the air conditioning unit looked rather old. It could be 40 years old. I don't know how old it is, but it's criminal that they took out that whole window and put in this air conditioning unit on the back side. I mean, they won't have any need for it now because the building's going to be air conditioned, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So our
So what can
intent was
What
to,
can you tell me about that window?
yeah, well, our intent was to, obviously, we will remove that AC and then replicate the window so that we wouldn't put, say, insulated glass or a modern window there. It would be the same as the other original windows, but it would be a replica.
Yeah.
That would be one approach that would be perhaps cost effective.
I mean, the only thing the only advantage is that it's on the back side of the building. If it were on the front side, if it were more visible, then, you know, we might really hold your feet to the fire and say, this should really be an original window, but it is on the back side. That was criminal, whoever did that. It was probably done before the district was established, so, you know, we had no jurisdiction. We wouldn't have approved that, but of course it could have been done without our knowledge because it's around the back of the building. These, getting back to these energy panels, are they sometimes installed on the inside of the window rather than the outside? Because when you install them on the outside, that's really going to obstruct and change the look of the window. Whereas if they were installed on the inside, which I think they might have been done at one point in the town hall, going back a few decades, I think they installed some kind of glass panel on the inside of the window. What do you, where are they traditionally installed in historic buildings? Inside or outside?
Well, if there's precedent to where they were before, we would try to follow that. But in a case like this,
yeah,
a building of this vintage probably didn't have this type of storm to begin with. We like to put them on the outside because of the rationale that is that it protects the original window.
right.
This panel is replaceable. The original window you can only repair so many times.
Right.
It's wood that is already very, very old. And even though the windows will be restored, refurbished, they're still the original old windows. And why not protect them as much as we can?
Yeah, you know, I think that if
Sorry?
we were working with a perhaps a private client with an endowment for their building, we would look at this differently and say, restore the window to its original glory and maintain it that way, you know, with annual maintenance in perpetuity. In this case, I think we're thinking more about preserving this artifact for future generations as best we can, while you know, conveying a little bit of enhanced energy performance, or actually more like thermal comfort for the people in the building. So that was our approach in this case. On the Academy building, we did do as large a pane of glass as we could, as I recall, in order to you know, minimize any impediment to the sight line in view of the historic window. And I think that, you know, because we have precedent partially for that approach and some success with it right across the street, we would, you know, want to just follow along and do that once again over here.
Yeah, but this building is really our most original building in town. I mean, the Academy building was
Sure.
altered greatly through various additions and so forth, as we all know, that it was altered several times with major additions and so forth. So are you proposing putting the energy panels also on those smaller fixed windows on the top? Because that will completely obstruct the look of those. And
Or-
because they're recessed so nicely. And where would this panel go? Would it go inside the recessed area, right up against the window, because they are recessed? They
Mhm.
wouldn't be on the outside on the brick, I'm sure, would they? No.
They would be recessed very close to the wood frame as it's shown in this image.
Yeah.
I can
Essentially
see what
touching the wood frame, yeah, pushed right up against it.
Yeah.
to create a seal.
And with the seal, how would it be attached? Just through some kind of caulking or something, not through, or will it be?
Yeah, typically would be sealant, and they have a few pins that connect them very lightly, as you can see at different points.
Yeah, I can't see that at all.
Let me see.
I wish we had a sample of that. How wide is the frame for these panels?
That I don't have the exact dimension.
Much less wide than these existing storm units, right? I assume.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Yeah, and visually they're about as only as wide as the wood frame part and no wider. So you would get a view of sort of all of the glass and the entire, view area, especially sort of looking out from inside. Your view wouldn't be obstructed by the frame of the energy panel.
Yeah, we're more concerned about the outside looking in.
Sure.
Rather than the inside looking out. So you're proposing putting on the panels on the small fixed windows too?
Yeah, to improve the thermal performance, we will have to do that in all locations.
Okay. What about the windows at the bottom? These little basement windows, I've forgotten what they're called. There's a name for them. They're always ugly. They've always
Yeah.
been the small, narrow sorts of, because those don't seem to me to be original. Some are original and some aren't. And they have
Yeah.
some kind of guard railing on them, I guess, to keep people from breaking in. I don't know. So what's going to be done with those?
Those will be replaced. I believe we are looking at wood windows that are in keeping with the rest of the architecture, but this would be new thermally broken standard wood window. But I mean insulated glass.
Yeah. No plans for opening the larger windows, I assume, right? The double hung windows, there would be no plans to open those for any reason? Not
No,
outside
no.
panel.
We were considering similar techniques as the Academy for Energy Conservation.
Yeah.
To be fixed windows.
Yep.
With the reversible approach, but they would be in the closed position. You cannot open them.
Yep. Okay. I think that's most of the questions I had. Any feelings about anything?
With some of these things that were been shown, this is where the doing these virtual meetings really is a hindrance, because we would be able to see and feel, see exactly what the product is,
Hmm.
which was pretty standard for us, and we can't do that with this. So
Yeah.
That is an issue. But I don't have I don't have any major problems with anything other than some other questions that you had, Bill. But other than that, I don't.
Yeah, I would like for someone to make a motion to require that the back window where the AC unit is be replaced with an historically appropriate window.
Would
I
would
think
that
that's
be part of,
important.
would that be part of a motion to approve, and then with that as a subject to?
Yes, we can make that a condition. The approval can be conditioned on the replacement of that back window where the air conditioning unit is to be replaced by an historically appropriate window. And are there any other conditions that we want to discuss at this time? Many of the questions that we had last time were addressed by the architects.
Mhm.
I think this is an improved plan.
I agree.
Um,
I agree, and I
Yeah.
I think you addressed the railing. I
Yeah,
agree with
I
Marie's
agree.
thoughts.
Yeah, I agree with the railing now.
Bill,
If you
could I
don't,
ask a question?
Yes,
With the windows, what's showing on the outside is 2 panes of glass, like a double hung window.
right.
With the glass that they're proposing, is it going to be one piece of glass with no thing across the middle?
because the windows will be fixed, there's no need for the energy panel to operate. So it would be just a single plate of glass, so you can see right through the actual interior window. It wouldn't have a horizontal mounting.
Okay, that's just what I was wondering. Thank you.
So it will be, this panel will be against the top of the double hung window, but there'll be a space below in front of the lower half of the double hung window. Is that right?
Let me go back to the image that I had. Can you still see my screen?
Yes.
Right. So going back to the image, the one.
You could have shown the inside view, gives a pretty good idea of those windows too,
Uh-huh.
Let's see. Yeah.
right there.
Right. So you see there's a double hang with the horizontal mounting, what you see from the inside. From the outside, rather than having the panel have a horizontal line, which, under certain angles, you may actually see like two mountains, it would be just a single pane of glass. Going to, you see where it says mountain detail number 4?
Yeah.
It wouldn't have that. It would have just the frame around the window. You wouldn't have this piece.
Okay.
Does this create any fogging of the window, by the way?
There are very, very small weep holes at the bottom
Ah, okay.
to prevent that.
Okay.
Yeah, this typically come with some little holes here for that reason, to prevent buildup of
For moisture
vapor.
to go come in and out.
moisture. Right.
Because the storm windows that are there now are very unattractive.
Right.
They're very, very unattractive.
So you wouldn't see this in the glass that we're proposing with a frame that would
Right.
be as slim as possible. It would kind of go around the window.
Yep.
You wouldn't see that horizontal piece. You would just see all glass.
Yep.
So you see the actual window behind. And of course, the color would be matching the color of the window, not the white.
That's much better.
Much better.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree.
okay.
Um,
So, any other questions for the gentleman?
Actually, I do wanna, if you could clarify for us, because it would affect the way we specify that window in the back.
Yeah.
If we could specify a replica of the existing window, it would be done in a shop, sort of custom made. If the contractor needs to go and find the specific size, a specific window that matches this with all the moldings and things, that may take time and effort and things that it can be done. And we just need to set up the specifications correctly. And I'm
Well-
just asking if there's kind of leeway if for some reason the contractor cannot find the exact match, is a replica an option?
If the window were on the side or the front, I would say no, it can't be a replica, but it is on the back. So I don't know what the rest of the commission feels that if they want an original window or if we would like a replica that's custom made that looks as much like the original window as it possibly can. So what's the feeling of the group here?
I'm good with a replica. They can make beautiful
Mhm.
replications today.
Okay,
And it would be a new window.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
so yeah, I don't have a problem at all with a replica.
okay. So I think that's then the only condition. If someone would like to make a motion to approve the restoration, preservation of the Bridgewater Memorial Building as presented in our meeting tonight, with the condition that that back window be replaced by a replica that's custom made and as close to the original as possible.
I make the motion.
I'll second that.
Okay. So Dottie, do you want to read the motion back to us just to make sure we're all?
I was just thinking, I'm gonna have to go to the recording and see what you actually said.
We had a motion on the floor to approve the
Renovation.
restoration and preservation plan that was presented for the Bridgewater Memorial Building by Tepe Architects.
Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Motion to approve the restoration
And
And-
preservation
preservation.
plan as present for the Bridgewater Memorial Building as presented by Tepe Architects in the meeting of June 15th.
By
Tepe Architects
on,
in the June 15th, 2021 meeting. With the
This was a
one,
recorded meeting too. So
yes,
that's,
yes, with the one condition being the replication of the back window where the air conditioning unit is to be custom replicated as closely to the original as possible. Is there any discussion of the motion?
no, I was just going to say they did a good job. It's a good presentation tonight.
Yeah, yeah, very good.
Great job. Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
If any more, if there's no discussion, we'll do a roll call vote. Marie, excuse me, Dottie, if you could help me with the roll call vote.
sure. Let me see. Nick,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Bill,
I will, I'm
okay,
not going to vote because I'm the chair.
Jim,
Aye.
Okay, so the motion is unanimous. The restoration plan for the Bridgewater Memorial Building has been approved with the one condition. Thank you for all the work and the thought that went into it.
Excellent
Looking
job.
Forward to seeing it completed. What kind of timeline are we talking about here?
We are sort of finalizing the contract documents, and we are looking at, we're trying to sort of figure out how the bidding climate is right now, so that we can get good bids. It's a very difficult environment right now, but I think it would be soon. It would be in the summer. It would be, like I said, the documents are almost done.
This is your last approval. The MHC's already approved the major
Correct.
changes, correct?
Correct.
And you've gotten the waiver from the access board. So your approvals are in place, right?
Yes. We
Good.
also met with the building inspector, and we met with the people from town that would also would have a say in the construction of this project.
The Community Preservation Committee.
All of the relevant.
Yeah, I'm on that committee. That's why I've heard the presentation a number of times. Thank you very much. We've got a few items on the agenda, and maybe we'll try to cover these quickly. You're welcome to stay to talk about old business, new business, minutes, and so forth. If not, you can feel free to say goodbye.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much. And I'm glad that we are on our way for it's going to be a nice project.
Yeah, it will. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Jeff.
you. Thank you, everyone.
The fifth item on the agenda is old business.
Yeah.
All of you saw copies of my letter to the juice mill.
Yes.
We did get an answer asking that the application for the certificate of appropriateness for the large sign be deferred for a year. And we wrote back to say, everybody got that, didn't they, Dottie?
All right.
Yes.
It's a good letter.
Wrote back to say that she still had to apply for a certificate for the signs in the windows. And once she came to the meeting, then we would discuss the large sign and what we could do about that. But that was over a month ago.
And
So
no response.
no response.
None.
So no response. So I really am stymied here. I don't know what to do.
Bill,
Do you have any ideas?
Bill, normally I am on the side of business.
Really?
Yeah, I know that's a surprise. But I must tell you, I'm a little concerned with this for a multiple of reasons. First, I almost feel like what is happening here is somebody is thumbing their nose at us.
Sure.
And I don't know how you feel about that and the rest of you, but number one, especially with the fact that if you drag something out long enough, figuring it will go away. And I understand the theory, but it's not going to work here, in my opinion. Number two, I don't believe they live in Bridgewater,
No, they don't.
the owners. So this is not near and dear to them. And I got to tell you, I've had a few people mention to me, hey, aren't you on that commission? How come they're signed? And
Right.
One of the things that troubles me is we are usually very fastidious about getting after people to do things. And we don't normally have this kind of.
No, I've
Pushback.
never had a situation like this before.
So if you read chapter 40C, section 13, we can apply fines, no less than, I believe, $5 a day and no greater than $500 a day, based upon what they were supposed to do.
Have we ever done that? I don't remember ever.
We never
Have we ever
have.
done
We've
that?
never needed to do it. We've never needed to do it.
Right. And this has actually come up before. And that was the same response, that we've never had to, but it's obvious this is not going to go the way we'd like it to, or it would have already, in my opinion. So perhaps a letter drawn by, I know town has counsel, based upon chapter 40C, and that he can cite the appropriate section, that if we don't get an application within, and we can't give it a long time again, because this is just gonna
No,
drag it on.
no.
Right.
So let's say if we can get something out later on this week, they have no later than 15 days to respond with an application, or based upon chapter 40C, section 13, there will be, we will apply a fine to be determined at our next meeting, something like that.
Per diem.
And a per diem. It's
Yeah,
until,
that's good.
until the issue has been addressed. And you know what? I could see it if it was a business that they had come to us and said, guys, we're in trouble. We're having,
Oh, yeah.
business is tough. But we've had no communication whatsoever. And I
Right.
gotta be honest with you, that place looks like it's hopping. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I was a little put off by the whole thing. Even Steve Jewell, who's right behind there, asked me he goes, what are you guys doing about this?
Has anyone met the owners in any way? Did anyone know who the owners are, or have you met
It's
them?
dark.
I met the woman when she was across the street, young
Right.
girl.
And she's the owner? Okay.
Mhm. They're from Situate, I believe.
They are, right.
Okay. She seemed nice enough.
Money in Situate.
Pardon?
I mean, here
Money
we
in
are,
Situate.
an all-volunteer army. We've been meeting for almost 2 hours tonight.
Yep.
We all could be doing other things, and we're trying to do it to make the town look better and to improve things.
Mhm.
I mean, you saw the new signs at the Bluestone Bank. They're beautiful.
They
Yep.
are.
And,
They did a
we
nice
worked
job.
on that. I mean, they didn't want to hear what we had to say.
Not at all.
But those are great signs. And good signage will attract customers, it'll attract other businesses. I mean, we're trying to do the right thing here. I
Yeah.
will.
Well, I think
yeah.
honestly, when she was across the street, she kind of blatantly ignored the fact that she put
Right.
signs in her windows and painted her windows and ignored the fact that she wasn't supposed to. And now over here across the street, she's still procrastinating. So,
Yeah.
when you
But
go
then
in there, I mean,
But
if you
then
go in
added that
there
other
for,
sign, added that big vinyl sign on that pole. I mean, that in itself is, Judy Gabriel told me that it was, I think goes back to a gasoline sign or something. I mean, it's, the post has some historical significance.
Oh, wow. Yep. I
Well,
didn't know that.
It's
years
old.
ago, that before College Town, it was Super Tire.
That's right.
Wow,
That's
that
right.
brings back memories. Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was.
That's right. That's right.
But it's a very handsome post that we shouldn't take it down. I mean, she's got those picnic tables there. I mean, that's illegal.
Right. Correct.
I mean, those are structures. They're supposed to go before us. I mean, usually the building inspector takes care of these things, because there are all kinds of regulations about what can be put on sidewalks but we don't seem to have any support there. And I've not been able to get Michael Dutton to answer emails or
Well,
calls.
that's another
Wow.
issue.
Is
Yeah.
that technically a sidewalk? Because that's on her property where she's got the,
That's a question for the building inspector.
no, but
Right.
that is on her property. They're not on the sidewalk. That's on her property.
It may be. It's quite a bit of space there. You're right. But still, she
He's
needs to-
still in the historic district.
It's still in the, right. I was just going to say, it's
She
almost,
Things she has to abide by.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, well, we'll try. I mean, we did threaten her with fines in the first letter that I wrote, but we'll try this again.
Who enforces the fines, Bill?
Right. it
Well,
does.
That's a good question. Since the town has never done it, you know,
Treading on that.
entering a gray area here. We would have to get the town council or maybe the town manager to agree to this. I don't know.
I would, you know, Bill, would you have time, do you think, within the next few days to contact town council? I think this is a good question for him, because I believe we would have to, even if we wanted to send out a notification like this, we would not only have to, but we'd want to have them look at and review. You know, so he should be able to give us that information and say, you know, this is the proper way of doing that.
That's even
and-
worse if you try to put fines out and then they ignore it and nothing gets done. That's even worse.
Who is town
No.
council? It's not,
Oh, you had to ask me. I knew his name.
I can find out.
Okay. If you want, while you're checking that out, I'll,
We can find that out.
okay.
Okay, thank you for that. We have minutes that Dottie prepared, minutes of our January 20th meeting. If I don't know if you've looked them over. We have several.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the minutes of January 20th, 2021. A
Second, second.
Second, okay. Any discussion? The minutes?
I have
Fine to
none.
me, thank you. Dottie, now a roll call vote.
Nick Palmieri,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Okay, so that approves the minutes of January 20th. So we're all set. Any further new business?
I
that's
have
on-
a question.
Yep.
Who made the motion on the historic, the memorial building? Who made and second that?
Jim,
I
Jim
did.
did.
Jim, and who
Jim.
seconded it?
I
Nick.
did.
Ji-
did.
Nick seconded it, Jim made the motion,
Okay. Thank you.
which was just a formality. Dottie, can you take care of signing we'll want to write the condition on the application. Can
Right.
you usually take care of that, right?
Yep, I'll do that.
Okay, okay. And you always send to the
And
relevant.
I'll send it to you to make sure that I've written it in the right words, and then we'll get it to the town clerk so she can put it with the rest of the stuff.
Yeah, okay. The only thing we have to write on there is the condition about the replacement of the window. We don't have to actually have the motion because the certificate of appropriateness serves as the affirmation. So we'll just indicate that it's approved. We'll check it off. There are 2 boxes where we say approved,
Okay,
and then we'll add that one condition about the window.
Yep.
And that's it. Okay, any new business, if any?
How about your other new businesses in town? Have they applied for?
No, not yet. So we've got the realty company, right?
Right,
They've only painted their windows.
right.
Okay,
They're
what?
not supposed-
They just painted the
their
windows.
Oh, gosh.
We have a new coffee shop, Restoration Coffee.
Oh, yeah,
Restoration
no,
Coffee.
No, that hasn't, we'll have to, we're going to have to write letters to those 2 as well. The building inspector wants us to do things, to initiate things, and then we'll see if we get any response.
he's not supposed to give out the building permit to put up
Right.
the windows without an okay from this
Correct.
board.
That is correct. Out of
We
the
have no
bylaw.
signage by, I did talk to one of the members of town council, and he facetiously suggested that he was going to make a motion just to abolish the signage bylaw in the town of Bridgewater because it's never followed. And I suggested they do an audit of the applications to see who's applied and who, I mean, we've got all these people who jump through hoops and spend thousands of dollars on signs.
Right.
And then we've got people who do nothing.
Right, right.
They
And
do
that,
this.
that was my point.
They act with
Right.
impunity.
Exactly. Earlier on, it's one thing if you know it just was so troubling to me about this whole thing, and here we were sending letters, and you know it's like people that have issues with credit. When there's silence, is the worst thing you can do. But if you pick up the phone and say, "Look, I'm sorry. You know what? I've got an issue. I've got a problem. Whatever it is, okay." You usually will. People are willing to work with them. This has been complete and utter. I mean, basically
Insulting.
telling us to take a
Right,
hike.
it is,
Insulting.
it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Well,
I agree.
when you apply for business permit, you get this notice that you're supposed to have proper signage.
Correct.
And like Dottie said, why do they give them the permit to open?
Totally agree.
Yeah, that's the one kind of pressure that would
That's
work.
above my
really.
pay grade, considering it's
You know,
Europe.
you know what, Bill? If you know what, I have to be honest with you. This has really been kind of bugging me, especially this is one of the few times where I've actually had people, like I said, Steve Jewell asking me about it.
Right.
This could be the line in the sand. We're not taken seriously by everyone.
Right.
And perhaps this is what we need to do to, you know, we are serious. And, you know, you're next kind of a scenario. If you've got like, you know, the Restoration Coffee. I mean, everybody puts up their stuff. They want to get in business. I get it. But you know what? Like everything else, there are things you need to do.
No, an
this is
easy
one of those-
solution would be
Well,
like
I mean, the
Marie said,
building
if they
inspector won't
didn't give
even
out the
return my
building
calls.
permit.
The building inspector won't even return my calls, so.
I-
I've been down there. I've been down to the office twice. He's never in. And
Never
I
read
talked to Ruthie Card, who's very sympathetic.
And Ruthie Cott has been around for as long as since I started working there.
and
She was working there.
I
We're
mean,
talking 20 years. Ruthie knows the damn rules.
Yep.
she does.
She doesn't care. And
No,
her
no.
boss doesn't care. So there you go.
That's
Yeah.
the, that's the root of the problem right there. Like I said,
Right.
like Marie said, if they would buckle under if they couldn't open their business until they got approval by us. That would solve it.
But
So
that's,
simple.
I don't
Yep.
know if the word is out. I can't figure it out. I'm stymied by it, and I lie awake at night trying to figure it out, and I don't succeed. So,
You know what? You know, Bill, it's I think it's the general tenor of things in this country. I'm not being funny in any way.
Yeah.
You know, it's whatever it is anybody wants to do.
Exactly.
Some laws are applied, others aren't. It's
I
unbelievable.
agree.
I've never seen it in this.
I
particular-
agree. And it's so unfair to the people who do follow the rules.
Right. They're
Uh,
always, it is absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, totally.
Maybe
agree.
if we could request a meeting with the town manager, that might help.
Yes.
We would all have to show up, but
Well, I think he matches to his own beat too.
yeah, I do too. I do too.
Mhm.
What a very
Okay.
nice way to put that.
Okay, this is being recorded, you know.
You know what, Bill? I'm sorry. One last comment, if I may.
Yeah,
What if we invite the building inspector to the meeting?
okay.
I mean, he's our agent
Yep.
according to the law.
Yeah.
He is the agent. So
Well,
perhaps,
I'll do that. I'll do that. We have to get through the 4th of July, but
yep,
after that, we'll do that. And in the meantime, we'll work on these letters.
Yep.
Dottie's been indispensable because my vision isn't as good as it used to be. So typing letters is I'm like an illiterate. So Dottie saves the day here with the
we are very fortunate to have her.
we are. Okay. A motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Second.
motion, Second, roll call vote to adjourn.
Nick,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Thank you. We're adjourned until further notice, and thank you for all of your help and your good judgment. I think we had a good
Thank you.
meeting, very good meeting.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah,
Thank
good-
you.
Good
Have a
night.
great night, everyone.
Yeah, you too.
Too.
Bye-bye.
Take care.